meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current and the Hamilton Gazette, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, Stillwater Building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. And prior to the opening prayer, I just want to make mention that tomorrow, November 2nd, is All Souls Day. As we pray, please remember all public servants who have passed away, remembering their service to the county and our great nation.
Almighty God, we pray for the strength and courage to work towards a nation and world of peace and understanding. Grant that our decisions be wise, our principles sound, and our performance in office faithful. Amen.
Stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Madam Clerk, file the roll call.
Ballas.
Here.
Bertino.
Here.
Forsy.
Present.
Days.
Here.
Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Risley.
Here.
And Kern.
Here. Okay, the commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from October 18th, 2022. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the October 18th, 2022 minutes as presented.
So
Moved.
Moved by Commissioner, which one?
It doesn't matter.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi and seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Forsy.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Hey, anyone in person that would like to speak during public comments, please come to the podium, state your name and the town you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. And if you don't have your clock on, I think we have a nice big.
It gives somebody 2-3 minutes, but it's okay. Seconds.
We know. If you're attending virtually, please type yes and the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak during public comments. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please again state your name and the town that you reside. And that brings us right into our ordinances with ordinance number 9.
Ordinance to vacate a site triangle easement previously dedicated to the County of Atlantic and recorded at deed book 6244, page 011 and C, across property identified as part of block 3803, lots 1 and 5 of Brigantine Boulevard in the city of Brigantine. Final reading.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto and second by Commissioner Days. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Forsy.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to ordinance number 10.
Ordinance authorizing acquisition of a temporary construction easement for property designated as block 730, block 5.02 on the tax map of Hamilton Township pursuant to NJSA 48:12-1 and following, and NJSA 20:3-1 and following. First reading.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, and this is a first reading, so we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Forsy.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us into our resolutions with resolution 568, please.
Bid contract with South State Incorporated for the replacement of Lakes Creek Bridge EH 29 in Egg Harbor Township, amount not to exceed $7,900,043.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto and seconded by Commissioner Bertino. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Dorsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that begins with our grants with Resolution 592.
Amending Resolution Number 153, adopted April 11, 2017, a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the fiscal year 17 Local Bridges Future Needs Program to apply funding to the Lakes Creek Bridge EH 29 replacement project. No additional amount.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Corsi. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, just to highlight, this is shifting around grant funding to bridge projects that are ready for construction, while others that were originally on that grant funding are delayed in construction due to some permitting. So this is just shifting around the dollars so we can begin the projects that are ready.
Okay, any other commissioner comments? Okay, seeing and hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, by roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. This goes into our chapter 159. Before we do that, I just want to ask Commissioner Gatto if you have any additional comments in regard to the impact of the shared services coordinators programs. I know we kind of go about that.
No?
Okay, resolution 597 and 598 are in support of the funding for the shared services coordinator. I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolution 593 to 600, chapter 159.
So moved.
Second.
And moved by Commissioner Corsi and seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any comments from the commissioners?
That's right.
Seeing and hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, by roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that now we go into our professional service agreements with resolution 601.
Amending Resolution Number 689, adopted December 21, a professional services agreement with various vendors for the 2021 engineering and inspection services pool for dam and transportation infrastructure projects to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comment? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, by roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to resolution 602.
Amending Resolution Number 655, adopted December 7, 2021, a professional services agreement with various consultants under the 2017 Dam and Transportation Infrastructure Pool to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 603, please.
Amending Resolution Number 628, adopted November 23, 2021, a professional services agreement with various consultants under the 2020 Dam and Transportation Infrastructure Pool to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 604, please.
Amending Resolution Number 627, adopted November 23rd, 2021, a professional services agreement with various consultants under the 2019 Dam and Transportation Infrastructure Pool to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from? Okay, I roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Grizzly?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 605, please.
Amending Resolution Number 626, adopted November 23rd, 2021, a professional services agreement with various consultants pursuant to the 2015 Bridge and Dam Engineering Services pool, to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi and seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 606, please.
Amending Resolution Number 530, adopted October 5, 2021, a professional services agreement with French and Perella Associates, PA, for engineering design services associated with the replacement of Bungalow Park Bridge, EHC 08, Egg Harbor Greenbank Bridge, County Route 563, over Indian Cabin Creek in Egg Harbor City, to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Ballas. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 607, please.
Amending Resolution Number 529, adopted October 5, 2021, a professional services agreement with Johnson, Mirmoran, and Thompson Incorporated for the replacement of two bridges at Weymouth Road over Skulls Run, HML 18, and Little Mill Street, HML 19, in Hamilton Township, to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Corsi. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 608, please.
Amended Resolution Number 273, adopted May 18, 2021, a professional services agreement with WSP USA Incorporated for the improvements to Lake Lenape Dam and Spillway Phase 2 in Hamilton Township, to extend the term date only, no additional cost.
Second by the Dan.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Corsi. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to 609, please.
Professional service agreement with Greenman Pedersen Incorporated to provide inspection services associated with the surfacing of Brigantine Avenue, County Route 638, sectors 2A to part of 2B, from 29th Street South to 2nd Street South in the city of Brigantine. Amount not to exceed $234,857.55.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto and seconded by Commissioner Days. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair? Yeah, I guess to the engineer, through you, just wondering, this is almost a $235,000 contract that's going to a engineering firm that's in Lebanon, wherever that is. I mean, I think we have an abundance of, it's in New Jersey at least.
Not the Middle East.
Right. I think we have an abundance of qualified engineers that can do inspections that are located right here in Atlantic County, that employ people right here in Atlantic County, pay taxes here in Atlantic County. Why are we picking somebody from so far away?
Maybe the lowest responsible bid,
It's not a bid.
professional service.
Oh, it's a contract.
Oh, I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I
Professional
was
services
supposed to
keep
be
doing
clear.
RFP.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing RFP, so Doug is on, I mean, they review these, so Doug, you there?
Yes, I'm here. This is actually a federal project. So we have to follow the Brooks Act, which is based on qualifications when we select the consultant, and then we negotiate a fee with them after that. So basically, we have to pick the best qualified consultant when we use the Brooks Act
So
funding.
what you're saying is there's no qualified engineer in Atlantic County to do
Well,
inspection of a road project?
Well, we get the proposals and we have to rank the proposals based on the qualifications that they provide. So we have to go with the consultant that scores the highest.
So, Madam Chair, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question in it differently. Was there any locals who went after it?
I do not have that information in front of me. I
And
would
I think
assume
Commissioner
so,
Bowles
but I
raises a
don't
good
know.
point. So the question really becomes, were there any locals? I'm not putting words in your mouth there. Were there any locals? And of course, you did a rating system and it's a federal process. You gotta, at least we would know that locals at least attempted to get to work.
I would assume so, but I can't, without having the list, I can't.
I don't want you to assume, but if I may, through our chair, through the county administrator, I just like to have a list from them.
Yeah.
Just to see if any local, they didn't get it, but did any local?
I agree. I didn't see anything in the backup paperwork that we got.
Yeah,
Whether it was proposals, whether it was any other engineering firms that bid or sent a response, I didn't see anything.
Right.
And I think before we were told that it's kind of picked through the county engineer who the inspection goes to.
But according to the engineer, it's a federal project, so they do basically a point system, kind of, sort of. But even with that, I agree with Commissioner Bowles. I don't agree with him that often. But if in fact that is the case, was there any locals who at least attempted?
Hey, Palmer,
And could
Palmer,
we give,
you're on. If you're in the office, can you just check to see if what the responses were? If it went through you?
I'd like to know what this
I'm
miraculous.
sorry, I'm not in,
is
I'm
that
not in my
our
office right
engineers
now.
Okay, fine, okay.
But
So
it would
Doug,
have been an open
Yeah.
proposal, so anybody could have bid on it. Through
Saying that, but you didn't. I hear that, but you're speculating now. And so what I mean by that is you don't know if a local even bidded on it.
I think your, if I may, Madam Chair, I think your point of, did any locals bid?
Right.
And if they did, and they didn't score as high against this Brooks Act rubric, could we provide feedback or training or something
Exactly.
that would help them to achieve higher scores in the future? So I think we need to get educated in that as well.
That's a good point too, but I
And
think,
maybe that's something Roads and Bridges we could learn about and
I'd like to see, Chair, as I said, they're all staying here. I'd just like to see how you qualify, what the criteria is for qualifications. Because road inspections is not all that complicated. And I'm sure we've awarded a lot of contracts to engineers in Atlantic County to do road inspections. So I'm sure they qualified unless the federal guidelines are so different from our NJDOT, and I don't believe they're that far off. So I'd love to see the list as well. I'll leave it at that.
you know the federal and the state government.
So we'll have, Jerry, so
By
that's just
funding
information
source.
through you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I share
Yeah.
mine? So, as an educator and using rubrics to score assessments, is it possible to share the rubric make it public so they know exactly what they need to do to score well or?
Actually, as part of the RFP, the federal process does require us to provide the scoring
Okay.
means.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think we have to get educated and then we have to get that information out to our
Yeah,
local.
that's fair enough.
It's hard to win the game if you don't know the rule.
Right, I mean, it's fair enough if the rubric's public, they know what they need to do.
I mean, if it's an act.
just for the record though, how long's the Brooks Act?
Yeah.
About 5 years now, 6 years, Doug?
Brooks Act's been
Yeah.
around for a very long time.
Right.
I forget the exact date, but I believe it may
So
go back
there's probably some
a
certification.
few decades, I believe.
Expensive.
But I mean, there's a process with the Brooks Act. I mean, I don't remember all of it, but if I remember correctly, with the Brooks Act, you guys review the proposals. You're not allowed to look at the price.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter. Jerry, because I'm telling you, the very first time we had to exercise the Brooks Act when John was here, I got the phone call from Denny saying, I bid $300,000 and you're awarding it to somebody who's $800,000. Why aren't I getting it? And so Denny called me and asked me, why are we giving it to somebody with 300,000? So John went through and explained to me under the Brooks Act, that you submit your proposal and it gets reviewed, and there's a bunch of like people review it, engineers that are reviewing it. They then, based on the proposal, what they're going to do in the field and however their proposal reads, they score the proposal. Whoever scores the highest wins the bid. It would actually, in this particular case, the guy at 800,000 had the best bid. No one ever saw what the cost was. So they didn't award it based on the cost. And that's like I said, that's the federal government. Federal government doesn't allow them to do that. And so when you're using the federal funds, you gotta follow the federal rules. So that's what happened. So,
It's paid.
It's been
So we're
around since
just-
1972, the Brooks Act.
Yeah.
There's qualifications-based selection.
We can, yeah, we'll get that. So that's the type of
It's not
information, you
that-
know, that what
That's
we're
right.
looking for
That's right.
and, you know, as Commissioner Gatto said,
Yeah.
and Commissioner Fitzpatrick, we just want to get people schooled and
yeah.
so, especially so we know and know what they're given, like, are they given, how they're being scored as well. I don't know, think of that.
So we'll get you the list.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, just one other question. Doug, have we used this company before? Are we familiar with their services?
I believe we have, and yeah, we are familiar with them. So,
Any other commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas,
I'll say yes, only because I don't want to hold the project up.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Ridley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to resolution 610.
Renewal bid contract with Civic Plus Incorporated to include the ability to utilize the system for community notifications that may not be emergency in nature and for internal notification by county departments. Amount not to exceed $30,900.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Corsi. Any commissioner comments? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 611, please.
Bid contract with UGI Energy Services for the purchase of natural gas to members of the South Jersey Power Cooperative. Amount not to exceed $800,000.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bertino, seconded by Commissioner Gatto.
Moved.
Thank you.
Moved. Before I get beat up. It's like
Any commissioner comments? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 612, please.
Bid contract with South State Incorporated for the resurfacing of Brigantine Avenue, County Route 638, Section 2A and B in the city of Brigantine, amount not to exceed $3,230,000.
Moved.
Second. Project.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Days. Any commissioner comments?
Madam Chair.
I'll let Commissioner Corsi go first.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yours more substantive than.
What did you do?
See, he's just used to the classroom where he raises his hand.
I'm used to calling that.
We're
Yes,
used to calling out.
Madam Chair, through you, Jerry, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, as much as I'm in Brigantine, didn't we just repave this road like 2-3 years ago?
Well, this is, you see this is from 29th to Second Street South. We paved, and Doug could probably correct me on this, we paved closer to the, if I remember the circle. So I 27th, I forget the exact street, so maybe Doug can whatever, tell me.
I know it was some paving over there. I wasn't, for some reason, I thought it was closer to this one.
Right.
But that's okay.
Should Doug?
You know, Jerry, I trust your judgment, so if you say that's what it was,
Yeah, should Doug.
you can trust all of
Wait,
it. I
wait,
trust yours.
wait.
yeah, I believe we paved closer to the bridge coming in. To
Right there where the gas station is, correct?
I believe so.
Yes.
And then we have another project that will go from this project to the terminus at the north end.
But so, Madam Chair, if I may, again, Doug, so I might be right. So where the gas station is, where the Dunkin' Donuts is that where we're talking about? First traffic light?
I believe so, yes.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, and I'm only stop clock is right twice a day. I may be right and I may be wrong, but for some reason or another, I think we did that road 2-3 years ago. And if we didn't do it, my next question would be through the county engineer to the administration. Is all the infrastructure done in that area? Because I know there's some new development going on in there.
There was drainage done in that area. That's probably what you remember.
Could it be drainage?
It was-
Because they're building some new houses along that strip. So I hope we don't do the paving and then they decide to go and tear up the road again.
Right.
So,
No, they just did the center median and all that.
no, what I'm talking about. You
I
talking
know
about?
we were talking, it just finished down there.
So,
Yeah, this is, I think,
where the
further,
gas station is.
this is past the White House,
There,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm only saying, Brigantine Boulevard, this is what this Brigantine Boulevard, if you
No,
look in
Brigantine
that,
Avenue,
we
nothing
did
to
drainage in that area. We did a number of streets, the drainage, and so there was paving on top, obviously, we tore up the road and everything, so there was.
Amy's trying to convince me of somewhere else, so you know, she may know.
I might-
She
The
may.
commissioner of that district might know even better.
Yeah, but, and she may know, so I'll yield to the ones who, the professionals that think they know. So I'll just,
You're right, you saw us work done, but it was a drainage project, I mean, that's my recollection of that.
I'm half
Right, yeah,
okay.
no, you're not, yeah, right.
Glass is either half full or half empty, so I'm in the middle. I'm good. Thank you. I'm good.
I mean, we're talking Brigantine Avenue, not Brigantine Boulevard.
Because that's what Frank just said.
Is there an estimated time frame for the start and then completion of this project?
I believe that it will, so it's bidding now, it looks like they'll do a lot of the drainage work over the winter and hopefully be able to pave it this spring.
Because I spoke with Mayor Sarah over the weekend, and yeah, to his knowledge, he hadn't heard any kind of a time frame, so he's just kind of curious what we were looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from our commissioners? Same here now, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Martina,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes,
Parker,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Bring it to resolution 613.
Bid contract with Electrotech Incorporated, provide phase 2 replacement lighting at the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $160,650.
So moved.
second.
Moved by Commissioner Risley, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes,
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 614, please.
Bid contract with Northeast Electrical Services Limited Liability Company to provide supplemental electrical maintenance and repair. Amount not to exceed $124,120.
move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Days. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing here none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 615.
Bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver custodial supplies to members of the Atlantic County Cooperative. Amount not to exceed $72,967.08.
Move.
Moved by Commissioner Ballas, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any commissioner comments? Seeing and hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes,
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to our change orders. Resolution 616.
Change order number 2, a contract with Arrowback Paving Company Incorporated for the resurfacing of Tilton Road, Section 5 in Egg Harbor Township. Net increase $54,981.04.
move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Parker. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Fortsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 617.
Interlocal services agreement with Atlantic Cape Community College for the Atlantic City Electric Line School Program, amount not to exceed $194,614.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, into the public. Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Fortsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to Resolution 618.
Contract with Telesystem for the provision of voice data services for the Atlantic County Library System. Amount not to exceed $16,894.32.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Fortsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 619.
Sourcewell National Cooperative Contract with Napa Auto Parts for the purchase of automotive parts which are not available on the New Jersey State contract. Amount not to exceed $150,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bertino, seconded by Commissioner Gatto. Any comments from our commissioners?
Madam Chair, just want to give kudos to our procurement department for, there were some items that came off of the state contract that we could no longer purchase with that pricing. And they went out and found this Napa Auto Parts contract, which is part of a larger cooperative. So it's another way for us to get that pricing. So I just want to give kudos to that department.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments from our commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Fortsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 620, please.
Resolution requesting a transfer in the 2022 budget in accordance with the provision of NJS 48:4-58.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gatto, seconded by Commissioner Risley. Any commissioner comments? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Fortsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Brings us to Resolution 621.
Resolution to demand the state of New Jersey fix the severely flawed public employee state health benefit systems. Sponsors John W. Risley Jr. and Ernest D. Ford.
Move. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Corsi, seconded by Commissioner Risley. Do we have any comments from our commissioners? Commissioner Risley.
Thank you. I had asked, after we had our discussion at the last meeting, I had asked our attorney, Rick, to put together something for us that would certainly express our disgust. It includes the county executive's letter. It also includes other facts and figures that we were able to obtain. It also includes pieces of other resolutions that were adopted by the boards around the state of their county boards. It's, quite unconscionable that an entity such as this didn't see this coming. And it's either that they didn't care, or here it is, or they saw it and sought to cover it up, so to speak. I mean, how could you miss something like this? This is, a huge elephant in the room, so to speak, with an impact to numerous employees across the state. So we are asking in this resolution a number of things. And one of it is for financial help from the state. They've created this mess and have done nothing to alarm us, to do anything in this regard. I know our administration is looking at other options, considering other options. But this system apparently has worked very well for a number of years with increases of 3% along the way. Maybe they should have been higher. And to do that, or more possibly, since we don't have anyone here from the commission to talk to us, maybe they bled into their reserves and they're down dangerously low in their reserves. Whatever the case may be, it's just incomprehensible that the state could dump this kind of a penalty on the employees in this entire state. This isn't just about Atlantic County. This is about all the 21 counties and employees and municipalities. It's such a wide-ranging number. My own personal insurance, I just got aware of that I have through Blue Cross, is going up by about 13% next year. So why this is going up by 23%, I don't know. They're saying it's experience. I guess it's experience to the whole state, whatever it may be. If they're blaming COVID, which COVID gets blamed on everything, it seems, then the state, quite frankly, should come through with some funds. And more importantly, we need to know what situation is going to be going forward the next year or two. We need to know these things. So the state of New Jersey on this has got to coming much more forthcoming and providing us with the information that we need.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So Madam Chair, let me just
Commissioner Wilson.
kind of piggyback off that. So all of us, since this news has hit about the 23% increase in the health benefits, so we all get calls from everybody, whether it's county employees, city employees, whatever the case, as John was indicating. But something has to happen. And it's like a broken record we said at the last meeting. We give everybody a raise and we take it right back from them. So where do they see any benefit? It is not only, and I think I said at the last meeting, Atlantic City is now trying to find out what mechanism Galloway and Bridgeton and other towns are using to keep their insurance coverage down, because we may be going the same way. We're still waiting on that information to come in. So at the end of the day, people can't continue to afford this higher cost of insurance. Whether it's husband, wife, and kids, etc., it still beats you. That little bit of raise we call ourselves boasting and bragging about, we gave county employees, just went right back out the door. So they kind of like back, kind of sort of where they're at. But for the state, they say that the state employees 3%, everybody else take it. That's unacceptable. So how do we get that? If we can't get the same 3%, how do we get a whole lot lower percentage of what they offer? And that should be part of the discussion. So it would be incumbent upon our two assembly people, as well as our senator, and all of us, and I'm sure that the clerk will be sending a letter to the state of New Jersey, as well as to our legislators, asking them to advocate on our behalf. And I say our behalf, about local government as well as county, because we are their constituent as well. If the state can do it, why can't we find a way to do it? Or, as John said, send us some money to help us do it. All of us have received some form of money from the American Recovery Act. I'm sure the state has some money left over too. Send some of that down to the municipalities, as well as to the county, and see if some of that can offset it. I mean, we're not going to get a 3%. We get that, but anything better than 24%. So the employees are complaining, crying, and rightfully so. It seems like there's never any light at the end of the tunnel. We take 2 steps, you take 4 steps backwards. So where does the relief come in? And so I commend Commissioner for bringing forth this resolution. And listen, we all feel in the crunch. Whether you have your own personal insurance, whether you have municipal insurance, you have government employee or county insurance, it doesn't matter. We all gonna feel it. And so any relief is better than no release at all. So I'm sure that all of you are going to support this resolution. One is the right thing to do. And I'm sure none of y'all can look at your constituents and say, I didn't support it. We all know we're going to support it. But we just need our legislators to do the right thing. And they've got to advocate on behalf of everybody, not, oh, the state did it. That doesn't mean you can't go to Trenton and raise hell to try to get some help down here. So I think that's the right thing to do.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other, Just Patrick?
Thank you. I'm just looking at a letter that I just opened up from John Donadio from NJAC. Did everybody see this letter asking us to sign on with about a dozen other statewide agencies? And I think that we should and include that in the envelope when we send our letter. But our municipal and county employees pay the same premiums that state employees pay. So I don't think we should not try to get the same benefit for them that state employees got. State employees are going to be increased only 3%, taking money out of reserves that the state has. And I think that should extend to county and city municipal employees as well. We're not second-class citizens just because we're not at the state level.
I was going to say,
So-
according to that other stuff, we didn't fall into the 3%. So we should have all been treated the same. I agree, but we have not been. And listen, nobody's going to get 100%. I think we all would agree. But hell, anything is better than 23, 24%.
I think we
So
should
the
start
lower you go, the
asking for
better it is. And listen, we all pay taxes.
Mhm.
We all some kind of employee for the state, county,
Mhm.
admissible. And we shouldn't be treated any different
Exactly. They
than.
pay the same bill.
It
They
was-
should get the same benefit.
Not we all, but
We agree with
I know
you.
you in a different category by yourself, but, if we had
That's
Amy's,
all.
you wouldn't have to worry about it, no.
you don't even want to know what I pay for insurance.
But I mean, I think we all singing the same song on this. It's just how can we get something done? And I think the best thing is that our legislators has got to also push the issue.
Madam Chair, if I didn't say this earlier, Rick did a great job with this resolution. He encapsulated all the things that I think need to be in it. And I just want to say he did a great job with it. It's a little lengthy, but we had to get all these.
Either too short or too long. Tell me you're a lawyer. What do you expect?
Right, and charges for every word.
Charges for every word.
Right.
He did a great job.
Maybe that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
But I think, I'm sorry, I think Karen makes a good point, Madam Chair, is to include John's letter as well.
Yeah. And we'll sign.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Bowser?
Yeah, just a question of Jerry. Jerry, have we gotten anywhere? Is the state willing to negotiate on this item at all with the county? Or is this
Not
another?
according to NJAC, according to NJAC and League of Municipalities, they've not been willing to do anything. Individually, counties and municipalities are going on their own to look and to see whether or not there are things that we can do. So, we have three potential offers out. We're waiting for the offers to come in. Hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have the three. And, I think we mentioned that, what's going around, as a matter of fact, during the discussion, NJAC and League of Municipalities and the Coalition of Mayors had a meeting. They met with all the counties and towns. And during that session, somebody wrote on the screen, we should all pull out of the state and join and create our own health insurance fund. Obviously, it would take a while to do that, because you're talking a lot of entities and you're talking a lot of actuarial reviews that would have to be done in order to set prices and, your medical panel, Jim's been through that with all of us. So there's a lot of work to be done. But we have talked about it internally. We're looking at what it would take to have to do that. If we did it locally, what we would have to do, and we've had conversations with the executive about it, so. There's a number of things that we're discussing.
And a health insurance fund has to be approved by the Commissioner of Banking and Insurance of the state of New Jersey, of the Department of the Treasury. So, if one has already been formed, you might be able to join up with it. But if a group of either counties or municipalities gets together and forms its own health insurance fund, it has to take all the steps to get that approved by the Commissioner of Insurance. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. That's a rather lengthy process.
Thank you.
As long as you start the 1,000-mile journey, you take the first step. But
Any other comments for our commissioners? Being here at night, anything from the public? Okay, I'll roll call.
Ballas. Yes. Chupino.
Yes.
Forsy.
yes,
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That concludes the written portion of our agenda. Any reports of special committees of the board? Seeing none, any unfinished business? Seeing none, any new business?
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
On this past Tuesday, I attended a meeting to represent this county and the South Jersey Economic Development District, which you know I chair. We met with the US EDA at the aviation buildings. And we were talking about this county, what we're doing there with our aviation program. We met with the 3 individuals from the US EDA, and we were basically selling ourselves to the US EDA. Hopefully that they'll smile upon us and help us out with some grant money. Everything we could think about that was positive about Atlantic County, our AA bond rating, our comments from our auditors, and the necessity for further economic development in Atlantic County, given our employment situation here in Atlantic County and how we're trying to expand beyond the hotel casino industry here in Atlantic County. So we were basically promoting our area to hopefully gain favor with the US EDA. They'll help us out with some further grant money, which will be necessary. We're going to be going forward with the second building. I understand within the next 3 to 4 months, we're going to be clearing the area out there for the second building. So that's exciting. Just to see that would happen will generate, of course, more interest. So we're all quite excited about this industry and what it's going to do for the county going forward. And hopefully we ingratiated ourselves to the US EDA folks and that they'll smile upon us and see that it would be money well spent. We had Lauren Moore there, of course, and Max Slusher and people from the FAA and our whole team of professionals there. So we promoted Atlantic County to the nth degree. So hopefully it worked. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other from anybody?
Madam Chair, really quickly, I'd like to just highlight that this morning, the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office had their conference on combating bias and hate that I attended. I want to congratulate them on a job well done, as well as all the rest of the works that the Prosecutor's Office is getting involved in terms of getting out in the community in conjunction with the Sheriff's Department. They're doing excellent work. And so I just wanted to put that out there and highlight that today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners have any reports? Okay, has any commissioners received any written communications or petitions that they would like to comment on? Okay, seeing none, we'll now open to public portion, comments portion. Anyone that would like to speak during public comments, please come to the podium, state your name and the town you reside. You'll be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. If you are attending virtually, please type yes in the question and answer box. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please state your name and the town you reside.
Just walk up.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Good afternoon, everybody. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Joe Bergman, the Chief of Staff for Senator Palestine, Assemblyman Guardian, and Assemblywoman Swift. I actually just want to come today to talk about a couple pieces of legislation that we're pretty proud of that actually have come out of the City of Atlantic City from the Clean and Safe meetings that we've been doing since the NACP convention this summer. Most specifically, 3 current pieces that are out there I'd like to discuss that I think they have applicability throughout. The first is the ATV Task Force Bill. As you guys are probably all aware, the city of Atlantic City faces a lot of issues with the ATVs throughout town. Police, it basically becomes almost impossible for them to pursue them due to public safety, other restrictions that have been placed upon them. But the laws are all there for what are needed. It's just the fact that a patrol guy, unfortunately, doesn't have the ability to do it. These problems are amassing. So what we've done is one bill that we've created would allow for creation of a countywide multi-jurisdictional ATV task force. They would have oversight by the county prosecutor's office with a deputy attorney general assigned to them, in addition to an allocation of a total of $1 million statewide for any of these organizations. And the belief is that with an actual highlighted task force for this specific purpose, no different than a drug task force or any other task force, these men and women will be able to come together for this purpose and hopefully be able to address these issues for the guys before they get on the ATVs. They can find out where they are because the laws are so clearly written that if an ATV is parked on a public street, it can be removed because it's an illegal vehicle. It's not registered, not insured. But unfortunately, at the moments where these guys are seen on these ATVs, the police can't safely try to do anything about it. And it just kind of creates this issue. So that bill is been posted. It's going through the normal phase. Another bill that has yet to be posted between the two is a kind of a juvenile rewrite with regards to the decriminalization of marijuana and alcohol. I think we've all seen throughout the shore, some here too, not as bad as other communities, kind of pop-up parties that happen. And unfortunately, it mostly is juveniles. And the problem is if you talk to a uniformed police officer these days, they're not necessarily clear on what they're allowed to do following the decriminalization because it's kind of created some gray areas. And these men and women are nervous about taking the action. So what this bill would do is it basically, the intention of it is not to charge, not to attach a crime to anybody. But if you're a police officer and you see someone actively engaged in either possession or just the use, marijuana, alcohol and tobacco, let's not forget, you still have to be of age to possess these items, that the officer can go up for the purpose of identification and age verification only. So if you see somebody who appears to be under the age of 21 for legal consumption or use, the officer is able to go up and identify that person. If they are found to be under the age of 18, what would be done is that the juvenile would be taken into like a protective custody. Because let's not.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Because let's not forget, and Commissioner Bowles can attest to this, when you're a police officer, if you find a missing juvenile, you hold them for safety purposes until a parent or guardian. These juveniles are being held in that same context. No recordation of the interaction. There's no charge being attached to them. It's just simply the fact that you're underage, you're not allowed to have this stuff. That's for somebody under 18. If you're in the ages of 18 to 21, it's just simply confiscating your son on your way. And obviously, if you're 21, nothing happens. While no police department can actively patrol for this, and again, I go back to the city because that's where it kind of was born out of. If dispatch is getting blown up, hey, there's 15, there's 20 kids, they're out on the sidewalk, they're doing this, they're doing that, and the law enforcement officer has no other means in. If there's an ability to see that these kids are out there smoking, drinking, or utilizing marijuana, at the very minimum, the identification of one kid, I mean, I don't know how things worked in Atlantic County, but when I was a kid in Cape May County, a cop talked to one of my buddies. We all got out of there while they were talking. So it can be used as a disbursement tool that we think will actually really help to try to curb some of these problems before they amass. I mean, we saw what happened in Wildwood. While that wasn't your typical true pop-up party, we've seen them more in the shore communities. And I think that this is a good disbursement tool. And with any of these pieces of legislation, the immediate receive of a draft, I sent to the county prosecutor, I sent to Chief Sarkos, I sent to the sheriff. We're sending them out to stakeholders. I'd be happy to share them with any one of you if you'd like to see them, especially this most recent one that is still very much in draft phase, which is the mental health court. Initially, we had been trying to, unfortunately, the drug court and the recovery court have done a phenomenal job for those who suffer with addiction-related issues. But there has been a kind of a gray area for those who, but for their mental illness, would not have committed this crime. And they're for individuals who are not driven by a need of an addiction. A schizophrenic person who doesn't have the ability, as we've discussed, high insurance costs to carry insurance, they can't get the medicine they need. Had they been medicated, they would not have committed this offense. So the idea is we would be taking the drug court, recovery court model and basically creating a mental health court complex that way. so that you're arrested, you're charged. Instead of you entering the true criminal justice world, we're going to pull you out, and you're going to have to comply with certain things, the same as the drug recovery court. We've seen, especially locally here in Atlantic County, the drug recovery court has done incredibly well. We're hoping to have the same kind of dynamic with the mental health court. And then more importantly, the hope is that we can pilot it here in Atlantic with the piloted municipal court kind of putting them all together. Again, it's irrelevant for those who don't participate in the municipal court because it's no different than the drug court. You don't have to. But the thought process, we could pilot here, which means we can fine tune it to the needs that we have. That's right now with stakeholder review. Again, if anybody up here, I'd be happy to send them to you and get your real, true feedback. Some of you have a lot more experience in these realms than others, so well, I would appreciate it. So those are the main three pieces. I've started to dive into bail reform, and I can tell you that will be a lengthy process. The biggest thing coming out of the city that we're trying to look at with the bail reform is the recidivism rate. Because unfortunately, the crimes that are plaguing the walk, when the simplest way to look at bail reform is you get issued this PSA score. Top score is the level of your current offense. The bottom score is the level of past convictions. You, in essence, could go on a crime spree right now, Commissioner. You could rob these places every day for under a certain amount for a certain period of time. You could be arrested and processed every time. But unfortunately, your PSA score is never going to jump because you always have that basic weak offense. And until a certain point, you're not convicted of anything. So it creates this potential for these people to continue to victimize these businesses before the system can actually catch up. So we're focusing on the recidivism rate and seeing that if there's a way that we can trigger something to pick up sooner than later, so we can try and get these people off the street before we run into the 147 individual thefts one person has from a store within the walk. But every piece of legislation we're crafting is coming from a need within a constituent within the county. So if there's any specific things that you guys have or any of these specific pieces of legislation you'd like to take a look at, I'd be happy to share.
Yeah, that's great. We really appreciate you coming and, updating us on these. We would love to see the information that you have.
I'll get them to sign you,
Perfect, yeah.
and then she can
And
send
maybe
it
you
out to
can
everybody.
watch out for their resolution that will be going as well.
Right.
To the assembly and the senator. So when we did this evening.
Yeah,
So let me just say this to you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention that when Prosecutor Reynolds was here talking about the mental health court, we did reach out, and I think we do have the information. Rick, I think you even started a resolution, right?
That's
We
right.
wanted the sponsor to support the idea and the notion of
I'll get
a
it
mental
right
health court. So we have that started. I think at that time you said it was still very much like in draft. So we probably want to relook at that.
I have a
whatever-
workable draft now that I can
Yeah,
send around.
so maybe you can send the new draft and we'll update our draft resolution. But when we feel when that bill is ready to go, then we'll bring it here to support whatever the bill number is. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for that. It's great.
Yep.
Mr. Bush,
Any
you
other-
have something for me?
Yeah, let the record reflect. Good thing I like you.
Because I go
Because you damn sure went over the 3 minutes. And I noticed the chairwoman said, don't pay that no mind. So next time somebody else from the public wanted to speak, I'm gonna say, don't pay that no mind. You did take about 7.5 minutes, but it was all good information.
I love the sentimental.
Yeah, I know, I'm just, I figured I'd break it up a little bit.
We have let others go over.
Yeah,
It just
so that time
because of
That
having a
time
lot
clock really doesn't matter now because it keep going over.
Call
and over.
Kate May, they'll send you back the other 3 minutes.
Can you give them the
Well,
balance?
I was still balanced, was gonna reserve the 3 minutes
Give
of
them the
this
balance
contribution.
report.
Thanks.
What was that balance?
We gave him the balance of your time.
I just said that about you.
Is there anybody else from the public? Yeah, okay, any comments from the viewer?
Madam Chair? Yeah, to Jerry. Jerry, with that being said, and what we know about the prospects of future of mental health court, I think we need to schedule a jail meeting. We talked before about, once the new warden got in,
Right.
sitting down and talking about facilities, because in the real near future, and probably we should already have one already, we're going to need a section in the jail that just house mental health inmates, separate and aside from, the whatever you want to say, 70% of the people that come in that have some kind of addiction. And I know there's some things that that we talked about before that needed to get done there as far as, you know, the Sally Port and things like that. So if we can schedule something, that way we can maybe get some kind of number in mind for when we're looking at capital improvement plans for moving forward for next year.
Okay, I just have, for those who might not be aware, the county's asking for residents to participate in the National Broadband Assessment Survey. By participating in the survey, you'll help the county and the state of New Jersey understand more about issues related to internet availability and help achieve the goal of 100% access to high-speed internet service statewide. Okay. Does anybody else have anything for the good?
Forgot one thing. Don't forget the deadline for the New Jersey Anchor Home Property Tax Rebate is December 31st of this year for tax year of 2019 for either homeowners or renters. If any of your constituents have not received their mailers yet, feel free to have them call me. We've had people coming in, we're actually physically doing their filings right there in the office for them if they have any issue. But that's through December 31st, so just make sure you're talking to anybody, remind them to do that.
Thank you. The only other thing I have is that November's National Homeless Youth Awareness Month, which is a time to acknowledge those children and families experiencing homelessness. As many as 2.5 million youth per year experience homelessness. While trying to survive on the streets, youth are exposed to countless dangers with an increased likelihood of substance abuse, early parenthood, impulsivity, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and a vulnerability to being trafficked. So we can pay attention to some of the things that are coming out in regards to that. Anybody else have?
Yeah, just real quick, just want to remind everybody to go out and vote, and best of luck to our 3 commissioners that are up for re-election this year.
Thank you. Thank you, Tricia. Anything else?
Happy Veterans Day.
And happy Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.